Hey everyone, it's Ryan from Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here, back for another live episode. Thank you to so much people for tuning in every single Thursday for these shows. Because I wouldn't be, I probably would be doing them just to have a good time, anyways. But it makes it a lot more fun to be able to provide such a great viewing experience for everybody that wants to watch. Now, we have a fantastic guest lined up today. But first, I definitely would like to give a quick shout out to all of my show sponsors, including my brand new show sponsor, which would be Axe and Oak Bourbon. It's a distillery here in Colorado Springs, and it is my favorite distillery. And no, I am absolutely not saying that because they sponsor the show. My wife and I actually came across them when we first moved here, and ever since then, I have been sold. So for about 6 years, I should say between 4 to 6 years, we have been drinking Axe and Oak all the time. It is a fantastic brand, as you can see over here. Whoop, let me get out the way. We have their entire lineup here, and tonight we're going to be pairing this cigar, which we'll get into here in a second, with this bottle, their original bourbon. I'm probably going to also switch it up for the second glass. I have to. And then, as well as a huge shout out to all the other sponsors that really make this show happen: Drew Estate, K by Karen Berger, BAMF Cigars, Christoph Cigars, as well as smokein.com. The big man Abe himself was one of the first ones to give me my first break inside of my show, and will always have much love for Abe over at Smokin. So definitely check out smokein.com. They have a great Cigar of the Month club. I've been told it is, in fact, the best damn Cigar of the Month club. So, as well as, we cannot forget my big show sponsor, as well as New Air Humidors. So New Air does make the best humidors that you can ever want, and they're fully self-contained, humidified, heat cooled, all the belt. You can put wheels on them. They drive themselves. Disclaimer, they don't actually do that, and you can't actually put wheels on them, but they do everything you're going to ever want them to. And if you're looking for a new humidor, jump over to newair.com. And before you do, go down in the show's description and you'll see a 15% off promo code, as well as jump over to BAMF Cigars or ROCF Cigars, listed right here, or BAMF Cigars. Grab my promo code RMCS15 and get 15% off the entire site. Spend your little heart's content, and you'll be saving money at the same time. So, without further ado, this is a fellow Chicago boy like myself. In fact, I think we were neighbors growing up and just didn't really know it. That's how close we were to. I think he's only like 10 miles or so from where I grew up there in Evergreen Park, Illinois. He is a fellow Southsider as well, and he makes amazing cigars. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up and bring on Aric Bey of Black Starline Cigars. Aric, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm good. How about you?
Oh, not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. So I'm going to kind of pop off the system. Hey, real quick, are you able to turn your iPad
I mean, turn it which way? Like this, or?
just under the side? No, the landscape over straight up and down.
Oh,
If
yeah.
not,
I
that's
can turn.
fine.
Let's see. Let's see if I can do it without messing things up.
No worries. Hey, everybody, when you are watching, please drop a comment in the show and let's find out what Black Starline cigars you're smoking tonight. If you can't, you can't. Don't worry about it, Aric.
All
I
right.
meant to
Yeah,
ask you
because
in
it's
the off show. Don't worry about it.
yeah. All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Now, real big shout out to Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge here in Colorado. If you're watching the show, you have a while, jump down to Smoking Cave and pick yourself up a dozen, a box, a couple of boxes of Black Starline cigars, and I think they're only really available at Smoking Cave, right?
Yeah, that's the only lounge in the Denver area that has us. Yeah.
Look at that exclusive! Big shout out to my man Sean and Nico over at Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge. When you jump over there, tell them Ryan sent you and let them know you're looking for Black Starline cigars. So I will let you introduce yourself, Aric.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Aric Bey, owner of Black Starline Cigars. I'm based out of Chicago. I'm a retired Chicago firefighter. My initial blends were rolled in its El Titan de Bronze down in Miami. And then I graduated over to Aganorsa Leaf. And all my blends are currently rolled at Aganorsa Leaf. I have moved all production from El Titan de Bronze to Aganorsa. So everything that I currently have is produced at Aganorsa Leaf. I was introduced to them by Sean Williams by Cohiba. He's a global brand ambassador of Cohiba. So that's how I got affiliated with El Titan. I mean, not El Titan, but Aganorsa. And yeah, I mean, Ryan, what else you want to know, brother?
So Aganorsa, so you mean to tell me we're going to be doing some validating tonight then, huh?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Always be validating.
So while I'm lighting up my cigar, tell us what got you into cigars. How old were you? What the first one you had was? What made you appreciate? Did you like your first cigar? Kind of give us a little bit of the backstory.
I had my first cigar in the Bahamas probably 25 years ago. I honestly don't remember what it was. I think it was just some unbanded cigar that they had there, and there was probably some really poor tobacco in there. I wouldn't have known if it was good or not, because like I said, I was a complete beginner. So I didn't start smoking on a regular basis until working at the firehouse. So I started smoking in the firehouse, and that's what really got me going on cigars. And I started smoking on a regular basis, and that was probably 6 years ago or so. So I was sitting here in my man cave, and I was just thinking about what business I wanted to start. I knew it was time for me to start a business. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then I was smoking and enjoying I think I was smoking a Drew Estate cigar, and I was enjoying it. And I was just like, man, why don't you try to make a run at cigars? So I contacted my childhood friend and asked him, did he want to help me start the cigar line? So he said, yeah, let's roll with it. So we started networking at Drew Estate events. Got to know JD very well. To the point he gave us his email, and then we kept going to his events, because at the time he was launching his liquor line, so he would come to Benny's a lot in Chicago. So each time we would go see him, and each time he would give us more information. So the first time was his email, the second time was his phone number, and he was telling us that we need to talk to El Titan de Bronze. So I chased Sandy, the owner of El Titan de Bronze. That's Willie Herrera's mother-in-law, for those that don't know. Chased her for a long time, and she wasn't in the factory a lot because her mother was sick. So I would call and just keep getting the runaround. And then, so I decided to send some flowers down to Miami just to wish the family well and keep me on her mind. Still didn't hear anything. So it was like a couple of months after that, I, out of the blue, I just got this feeling like, hey, you need to call them right now. So I called down there, and Giselle, her daughter, answered the phone. And she basically was like, I asked for Sandy, and she was like, oh yeah, she's right here. Handed the phone over to her. So then Sandy got on the phone, and we told Sandy who we were, and Sandy was like, you were the nice guys that sent me those flowers from Chicago, right? And we were like, yeah. She was like, that was so sweet. She was like, I'm going to do those blends for you. And then that's what gave birth to Black Starline. Just being persistent and being creative about staying in front of somebody, even though I had never met her before. So and that's what gave birth to my first two blends, El Milagro, which means the miracle. One's a sun-grown Habano, and the other one's was originally a Mexican San Andreas. Now it's a Corojo 99 through Aganorsa. So that's where the first two blends came from, was El Titan. So I'm like a baby cousin to Drew Estates, because of my affiliation with Willie and Sean and everybody that comes out of El Titan.
So when you decided and I asked this question to a lot of newer within the last 5 years companies.
Yeah.
When you decided to start, were people like, what? Like, did your family and friends go, you're going to start a cigar company? Like, just because I don't really think most people understand the amount of time that it takes to do cigars, right? You got to go to shows, you got to go to events. You're in Chicago, you've got a great amount of lounges in Chicago, but you don't want to stay there. So did you have anybody going like, what? Really?
No. Out of my family, so my family doesn't know the tobacco industry, so they don't know how hard it is to get into it and how hard of an industry it is. So they were just like, "Oh, you started a business, cool. We with you, whatever you want to do." The only person that's ever been like, I mean, why you want to be in this business was Aric Espinosa, but he says that to everybody. He's like, I mean, why you want to be in this business? You don't make any money. I'm like, well, you making money, so why are you here? So
yeah, Espinosa said the same thing to me when I was talking about starting my show. Why you want to do that? So that's just kind of how he is.
yeah, it's funny. I just laugh and I was like, "Here, man, smoke this Warwick, man. Let me know what you think of it." So, and he loved it. He kept talking about with Connecticut rapper, how it could potentially be bitter and so on and so forth. And then he's smoking it and he's like, "Bro," he was like, "There's nothing bitter about this cigar at all." It was like it's blended very well, and he said it's an excellent cigar. So I was very pleased with that because I look up to all the guys that came before me, Aric and Skip Martin and Mike Rosales and the rest of them. I look up to all those guys. So I always bounce ideas off of them, and I let them I let them smoke my cigars and give me feedback on it and that type of thing. So I know I can keep growing the brand.
Sure. So let's touch base on that here real quick. I personally, after only being in this video content creator, I hate cigar influencer. I hate that terminology, but whatever, if you're going to call it that. But I have noticed that in this industry, and I've been in sales for 20 years, I've sold cars, everything underneath the sun outside of livestock and auction. I have found that this industry, this profession, has by far the most willingly helpful people. Of any, and there is no pull the ladder up behind me mentality in this industry. Everybody competes, but everybody also, I feel, loves the competition and in turn provides the help. I mean, even just getting this going, I had industry people helping me get this going. I still have industry people helping me. So how important was that to you to make those friendships, and how integral was that to you to be able to call on those people and bounce ideas off of?
It was extremely helpful. Like you said, everybody I've come across, none of them tried to discourage me from doing anything in the cigar industry. They welcomed me. They gave me advice. Because I think what it is if they help create more like them, then it helps to keep the cigar industry going. It keeps the cigar industry strong. So I mean, from Pete Johnson on down, Lito Gomez, all of them poured into me and gave me advice. And that's what's different from me than a lot of other newer companies out. Like I went out and I sought out advice from all the lines that I like to smoke. I've actually talked to them before I actually brought a cigar out. So I kind of knew some of the things, to do and what to look out for and what not. So I didn't take an easy route where I can just go down to Tampa somewhere and buy a bunch of bundles and just put my band on it. I didn't do that. I did all the blends that I currently have. They came from my mind. Now I don't roll cigars, so that's where the factory comes in. So they finish the product for me, but wrapper, binder, filler, the strength, the body, all that comes from me. So I'm very proud of the cigar line because I worked hard as hell to get this thing going, and it's really, I'm really flattered and appreciative that my cigars are well received. So.
Absolutely, and I've heard, like, dude, you've taken off. So before we kind of talk more about the brand and the evolution of it, I want to kind of lay down a definition real quick. So I always ask this to quote unquote, because there's no hard and fast definition, boutique brands. What is your definition of a boutique brand?
I mean, you can go with under 1 million cigars in sales. You can go with it's a smaller company. Not mass produced. like say Rocky Patel or AJ Fernandez, where they're rolling millions and millions of cigars. You know, it's just small. It's very similar to the craft brewer industry. You know, like if you're comparing, you're from Chicago, you know, Three Floyds and Revolution Brewing. It's like comparing those smaller craft breweries to say Budweiser or Corona. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. I just look at it as a smaller company. You know.
Okay, so you go more off the amount of cigars sold for a quote unquote boutique label. Okay, perfect. So now that we've established that, as you come in, so you started what year again?
Oh, 2018.
Okay. Yeah. So since 2018, how have you changed your mentality about the industry? Because clearly you probably came into it with some perceived or conceived notions of what it would be like. And now you've been in it for years. That's changed. So what's the biggest learning evolution that you've had about the industry and your company since 2018?
Don't give out too many samples. When I first started, you know, I was giving out way too much stuff. And then I found out, and they, you know, it'd be like to consumers and stuff like that. And like, then I found out that people just wanted to smoke my cigars and never buy it. So I had to start deciphering who is who and what is what, and who deserves to, you know, get a sample from me and who won't, you know. Sure. Because if you mess around and giving away all kinds of samples and things like that, then you won't have anything to sell, you know.
No, it's product, it's money.
You
know, so you gave away a lot in the beginning for obviously promotion, and you never know, maybe that paid off at this point in time, bringing in people because you were nice enough to give away 1, 2, or however many cigars you did to those people. So coming through COVID, what did COVID teach you about this industry?
Oh, on COVID, bro, I became a Zoom professional. So I was on Zooms almost every day because nobody was out. So that was the only way I could connect to people, and we were new. So I'm just like, well, I need to keep pushing the brand forward. So I would get on as many Zooms as I could. And that really helped because I sell directly to a consumer on my website too. And that helped me tremendously to stay in front of people until I can actually get out and do cutting lights in different cities. So during that time, like especially the website was booming because everybody was just at home smoking and drinking. So the tobacco and liquor industries didn't suffer at all during COVID because that's what everybody was doing.
Didn't. So did you find that you had a hard time coming across product or coming across boxes? I know a lot of manufacturers would say that they had issues getting boxes, and did being a smaller label, did that affect you at all?
No.
That's
because when I started out, Gabby Caffey did my boxes for my first run. And he did a good job. But I got tired of like El Titan doesn't do boxes or bands or anything like that. So I had to go to other parties to find that, right? So I got tired of doing that. So when I went to Aganorsa is vertically integrated. So they do the boxes, they do my boxes, they roll for me. I get my bands from Action Label and Sanford. So that kind of streamlined things for me to do everything with Aganorsa. Now, does it take a little bit longer for them to do the boxes? And yeah, but I think that's due to what you were just talking about, that there's a shortage of cedar and that type of thing. So due to the shortage of cedar, yeah, it takes a little bit longer to get the boxes, and the boxes may be a little bit more expensive because it's supply and demand. It's simple economics.
So let's get into the cigars. So tell us a little bit, because you and I we actually coordinated this, folks. Well, I at least told him what I bought of his cigars. I have a few more, but I at least told him what I bought that I was going to smoke tonight. And I'm going to butcher the entire name because I butcher every name. I can barely speak English most of the time, and get a little bit of bourbon in me, and my tongue gets heavy. So go ahead and explain to everybody this beautiful, dense, toothy, dense you could beat someone with this cigar and it wouldn't fall apart. So tell me a little bit about this. Let's get into the War Witch. Let's get into how you came up with these names.
All right, so the one we're smoking right now is Lalibela. Lalibela are the stone churches that were built into the ground in Ethiopia. So a lot of people don't even know that area exists. So I thought it would be a cool idea to name the cigar after that because it's a very historic area and historic buildings that they built there. And I wanted to just shine some light on that area. And I think it's great because people smoke the cigar, they live in the cigar, and then they say, hey, what is Lalibela? So then they look it up. So they'll be researching the Lalibela as they're smoking the cigar, and then they get more appreciation of why I named the cigar after that and everything. So it's a historic lesson, and then I thought it was a good name for the cigar. You know, it's a San Andreas wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. Comes in two sizes: a 6x60 and a 6x52. The 6x52 is a little bit stronger than the 6x60 because there's not as much filler in the Toro. So the Ligero kicks in more in the Toro. But I made the 6x60 for those that like to indulge in a bigger size cigar.
Sure.
War Witch is actually a movie. So it's a movie that was filmed in the Congo. And it's about a young lady that has spiritual powers to see her ancestors. So the local army took her with them. So anytime they would get attacked or they were potentially getting attacked, her ancestors would show up and they would warn her like, hey, you know, they're coming. So they would either plot to fight or run. So I thought it was a cool movie. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna name a cigar after the movie. So
and there's no like trademark issues with. Well, I guess it's that there would be no trademark issues on doing
different industry. Yeah. Now if I made another movie called War Witch, it might be. Yeah, but no, they don't have anything to do with cigars. So.
So let's talk about some more of your line. So what else do we have out there? I know you have. First off, guys, I really wanted to try to get it. I couldn't get it in time, but everybody watching knows I am an absolute Lancero nut. I love them. I can't get it. I get ripped on for it, but I love them. I have boxes of Lanceros. They just released this in Lancero over at smallbatchcigars.com, correct?
Yeah, small batch. The only lounges that have it are Small Batch, Oak Glen Tobacconist, Smokers Abbey in Memphis, and Underground in Fort Worth. It's a limited edition stick. I only release it once a year, and it's only in 4 lounges. So those are only 4 lounges you'll be able to get it at. It's fantastic. If you like Lanceros, it's an amazing smoke in that size. It's got all the flavor because it's scaled down to the Lancero size 7.5 by 40. It's got all the flavor of the wrapper in there. It's got the strength. It's got complexity, and it's got character to the cigar. So you all definitely need to go to one of those lounges. And the Underground ships. Small Batch definitely ships. I think Oak Glen Tobacconist ships. And Smokers Abbey will ship to you too. So all 4 lounges will ship. So if you're looking for it, you better get them because that's the only batch that I'm releasing this year. So,
well, that's one that I'm going to have to be looking forward to because this is fantastic. It's a heavy cigar. It's definitely a full body cigar, but it doesn't hit you with a bunch of pepper. And it's actually really not mellowly, but evenly balanced out, both in the retrohale and just in the mouthfeel. But the smoke is very, very nice. It does have a little bit of a toothiness to the smoke on it, and I really like that aspect. So let's get into a few more of your cigars here. So what else is the lineup made of?
So we'll go back to War Witch, and then I'll move on to El Milagro. War Witch is 2 versions. The original version is Connecticut Shade with a Nicaraguan binder and filler. And then the follow-up version is Dark War Witch, was a Corojo 99 with a Nicaraguan binder and filler. But I added more Ligero to that blend to make it a little bit stronger. It's the I forgot Casa de Puros in Chicago has the Lanceros as well. The original War Witch and the Dark War Witch, they're the same blend, but that Corojo 99 wrapper changed the whole profile of the cigar. So if I didn't tell you if I didn't tell you they were the exact same blend, you'd have thought they were 2 totally different blends, but they're not. It's the same blend. It's just the wrapper and the Ligero is the difference. Then El Milagro, like I mentioned earlier, were my first two blends out of El Titan. And the reason why I moved them from El Titan was because they, at one point, the whole factory caught COVID. So they were closed for like 2 months. And it's a small factory. At the time, they only had 10 rollers in there. So when they opened back up, they were balls to the wall busy. And you got Warp coming out of there. You got Cohiba coming out of there. You got Herrera Steli Miami coming out of there. And HVC's doing stuff out of there too. So I'm the little guy on the totem pole. So they were like, we can get you cigars, but it's not to the amount that you need. And I'm growing like crazy. So, I need to keep up in production each time I order. So I talked to Terrence Riley, and he was like, man, send me the samples. Let me know what's in the cigars, and we'll do our best to try to replicate the blends. I sent it over, and they sent me the samples back, and I was thoroughly pleased with it. Like the Mexican San Andreas version of it is now a Corojo 99 version of El Milagro, and they almost taste identical. Then the sun-grown Habano is still a sun-grown Habano, but it's all Nicaraguan tobacco as opposed to having Ecuadorian and Dominican tobacco in there as well. So, in my opinion, the new version of the sun-grown Habano came out better than the original, and the original was great, but this new version was even better. If you like a nice medium full stick,
Well,
yeah.
like
Go ahead.
I was just saying, like you and I talked about pre-show. Aganorsa is like it's perfection. Everything they touch is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. You really don't get much of a nicer guy in the industry than Terrence, in my opinion.
Yeah, Joel Osteen. He goes around spraying holy water on people.
Yes. That is the first time I have ever heard that reference of Joel Osteen to Terrence.
Oh, yeah.
And that is spot on. I can see him up there giving a sermon in front of the old Dallas Cowboys stadium. Joel Osteen has. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
So let's go.
He said he put holy water in the filler of my cigar, so that's why they're so good.
So let's continue on and walk through your blends.
Yeah. So El Milagro, like I said, is a Corojo 99 Nicaraguan binary filler. The sister version of it is, and that's a full body stick. The band is red and black. The blue and black band is the sun-grown Habano. It's a medium full stick. And I did that color scheme for firefighters and police officers. So I wanted to just pay homage to them. And I always have a little running joke with the police officers. I tell them, like, I made the red and black one a little bit stronger because I felt firefighters were stronger than cops. So that's just a little rivalry between firefighters and cops. But but like I said, I just wanted to pay homage to first responders. The band actually has the 4 Chicago stars on it. So I pay homage to Chicago as well. So, yeah. But yeah, El Milagro, Warwick, both versions of Warwick. The Warwick the Connecticut comes in the Corona Box Press 6x46, comes in the Lancetto 7.5x40. The Robusto 5x50 is coming back for the original Warwick. Then Dark Warwick is the Corona Box Press 6x46. And then the new version of Dark Warwick, the new Vitola is 5x50. It's the Robusto. It's coming out for PCA. El Milagro just comes in the Coronas. It's not a box press. It's just a Corona.
Okay. So hold on, one more time. What was the PCA size?
The Robustos. Yeah, the Robustos are coming back for PCA. So that's what's new from me for PCAs is the Robusto for Dark Warwick, and then the Robusto for the Connecticut Warwick is coming back because that was actually the first Vitola that I released of the original Warwick, and I released that at Underground Cigars right when COVID hit. So and it was such a hit at NFG. We sold like almost close to 500 of them in 4 hours. So it was like those Robustos were flying like crazy. So it's a damn good blend, and that's the blend. The Warwick is the blend that got me in all the magazines and stuff, and got me a lot of notoriety. Because some people smoke the original Warwick, and even if they don't like Connecticut wrappers, they say it's the best Connecticut that they've ever had in their life, and they're more open to try other Connecticut's because of mine.
Yeah, I mean, Connecticut's could definitely add like a little bit of a bitter tinge to it in most of the time, and you've been able to work that out. So when you're doing your blending, since you're not since you don't roll, or I don't know, I assume you you don't know how to roll based on what you said earlier.
Never learned how to roll, bro. I may one day. I don't do it.
So then how are you getting your blends across when you're talking to the manufacturers? Are you just saying, hey, I'd like a little bit more spice in it, I'd like a little bit more heaviness to it? How are you doing that? And are they sending you leaves to roll up like little fillies and smoke the leaves individually
Fumas.
to get that flavor? Yeah, fumas.
Yeah, fumas. That's Terrence's thing. That's what he does at his
I
events. He
know.
has
That's why I
fumas.
asked.
Yeah, that's his thing. I've never smoked fumas of the blends. I'd like to. I could have the factory send me some. I just haven't. Basically, what I'm doing is I pick out different leaves, the wrapper, binder, and filler, and then I tell them the strength. I tell them the body that I'm looking for. They put it all together for me. Then they send them to me, the samples, and then everything is just based off my palate. If it's a good enough cigar based off of the combinations that I pick, then I'll roll with, if it's good and I think I could sell it and I think I could talk about it and I think the masses will like it, I'll put it on the market. But it's not just me that smokes it. Is Cliff is he's my VP of sales. Cliff smokes it. Then I have a couple of other people that I actually trust their palate to smoke it, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything, or if it's just, I'm too close to the tobacco, so I need somebody else to smoke it to let me know. And I don't keep yes men around me. If it sucks, I'm like, if it sucks, tell me, because that means I'm not going to put it out, But if we're all in agreement that it's a good blend, then I'll proceed in putting the cigar out.
So then what comes first, the blend or the name?
It's a good question. A lot of times it's the blend.
Okay.
Because sometimes, bro, I'm in the house vacuuming and I'm thinking about blends. And then I'll stop vacuuming the floor and put the blend in my notes in my phone so I won't forget, And then I'll be listening to some music or something and I'll be like, damn, that'd be a good name for a cigar, So it's the blend, because the blends they're always in my head, and that's why a lot of times I have a lot of trouble sleeping, because I can't shut my mind down. I'm always thinking about tobacco. I'm always thinking about who I'm selling to, what marketing materials I need, where am I going next. Did I book the Airbnb? Did I book the rental cars? All that stuff. So all that stuff keeps going through my head.
Okay, and that makes total sense. So you're always thinking about the next blend, and then the blend comes, and then so what is your strategy for picking a name? I've heard some manufacturers that say, I get my buddies in a room with several bottles, and we smoke them, and we just start talking stupid until we both go, oh, that's a yes. That hits it perfectly. So kind of give us a little bit of insight into how you come up with your names, because you do have unique names and they're not necessarily connected names.
Right. Well, we go with the name of the company. The name of the company is Black Starline Cigars. So the Black Star Line is Marcus Garvey's shipping company. So I wanted to pay homage to him. He's one of our ancestors. So I wanted to pay homage to him and what he was trying to achieve when he was alive, because he had the shipping company to ship goods, and he also wanted to ship people back to Africa. So that was his thing. He was buying dilapidated ships. So they didn't make it to Africa, but he made it to the islands and that type of thing. So a lot of stuff I choose is like either pop culture or it's historic, or like with El Milagro. El Milagro means the miracle. And I felt it was a miracle that we got into the cigar industry. So I was like, that's the name of the cigar. It's El Milagro. So yeah, there's a lot of, I listen to a lot of hip hop and jazz and R&B. So I'm listening to lyrics for just obscure things and maybe in a verse that I may be able to use, or I may catch something in a movie, or like I said, or I'm just researching some history in Africa and I'm like, dude, that would be a great name for a cigar, and I use it.
So let's kind of talk about how when you go through the bodies of your cigars, the strengths, how do you try to keep cigars that fit all? Because you had also said a little while ago that you base your blends on what you like to smoke. So do you ever put out stuff that you're like, I think the public would like this based off of what everybody's telling me, but it might not necessarily be my most favorite baby that I put out, but I'm getting a lot of great feedback on it? Or is it really what you like to smoke goes out? And there's a lot of manufacturers that do that too.
If in order for me to put a cigar, I gotta like it. Ultimately, I'm the one that puts the final stamp on it, and I'm gonna put it out. So it's ultimately based off of my palate. I haven't put out anything yet that I was like, this is just okay. If it's just okay, then no, we need to tweak something. Maybe change the binder or add a couple more, some more leaves to the filler. To add some more complexity, or maybe it needs to be stronger. Whatever it is. If it's not to my liking, I'll change it until I think it is. And if that blend is if I just can't get that blend right, I'll scrap the whole fucking thing and start over and pick out a whole new blend. Hey man, send me these and let's see what we're gonna do with it. So I typically don't. People have asked me if I'll do a mild cigar, and that goes back to I have to enjoy it first. Because I'm the one to sell it. I got to be able to talk about it. And if I can't talk about it,
that's why I asked the question, because I have talked to some manufacturers that go, we were getting so much requests for a mild cigar. It's not one that like I smoke on the regular, but it's a great mild cigar and people liked it, so we put it out. So you really do release more towards your palate, and that's fantastic because like you just said, so much of cigars is the experience. It's not just the experience that you can provide with smoking the cigar, but it's the experience around the cigar. So definitely as you're talking about that cigar, people can tell which ones you may flock closer to based on how passionate you speak about your cigars. So then that brings me to when you started out in Chicago, what was your cigar stomping grounds for your release of your brand? Was it Chicago? Did you take the jump and go to local lounges to you, or did you start more in Florida, East Coast, where there's a little bit more or a little less reluctancy to bring in a new brand?
Well, I tried Chicago, and they were showing me no love at all, and I was fine with that. So I'm a longtime customer at Underground in Fort Worth, Texas, and I was talking to Don, the owner, about an order I had. Something happened, and we were trying to get it straight or whatever. So I was talking to him, and I was like, Don, I'm bringing out a cigar line, man. He was like, oh, really? He was like, where your cigars gonna be rolled at? So I said, it's gonna be rolled at El Titan de Browns, and he was like, what? He was like, dude, that's my favorite factory ever, right? And I was like, no, I'm not aware. I know now. So then he says, you gonna sell them through me, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess so. If you want to bring it in.
So you didn't produce a cigar and you already had somebody saying, I'm going to sell them here.
Right. So
that's awesome.
So Underground, I'm forever faithful to Underground because they were my very first customers. He bought numerous boxes from me and hadn't even smoked the blends. And he took a chance on me and my palate and my cigars, and we've just been running ever since, man. Like Underground has been such a huge supporter of us and the brand, and they love when we come down and do events because we come down, man. We pack the house out and sell a ton of cigars, have a great time, have some great whiskey, and just a good time. It's like being back at home with family, But yeah, so my very first lounge that I was carried at was Underground Cigars, and then I branched out from there. The first like really big event that I did was Atlanta Cigar Week, and that helped us a little bit. I didn't make any money with the event because I kind of didn't know what I was doing, especially with a large event like that. But it did help me to get in a couple of lounges down in Atlanta, and then it just kept growing from there. And when Warwick came out, that's when everybody really jumped on board. Woolwich opened up a lot of doors for me, man. And that blend is I remember when I first smoked it, and I was blown away by it. For it to be a Connecticut, and it's got complexity, it's got strength to it, it's got all the great notes to the cigar. And like I said, what really shocks people is it's a Connecticut shade. So, a lot of people aren't expecting. They're expecting to be like your grandfather's Connecticut, where it's less mild and boring, and
Oh yeah.
So, but Warwich, no, not at all.
So, what about the Warwoods do you think that that took off about that cigar versus your previous cigars that you had out? Why do you
It's
think
the
people
flavor
were
profile.
so drawn to that? So I know Connecticut's are the most bought wrapper. At least I've been told that in the industry as far as cigars go. A lot of people buy Connecticut's.
I've heard that before.
So when you were selling were you expecting it to pop off, or were you surprised yourself?
A little bit of both. Like I said, when I first smoked it, I knew from Jump Street. Like I did with the way Woolwich is now is the way it was from sample stage. Like I didn't have to change a damn thing to that blend. It was a fantastic blend from Jump Street. Now I knew people would like it, but I had no idea it would develop like a cult following, And like Cigars and Leisure rated it for 2020. It was their number 3 cigar of the year. We was in Tobacco Business Magazine and Cigar Press and some other magazines as well. But yeah, no, bro, I knew it was good, but I didn't think it was going to become the flagship of the company. And then the follow-up version of it, Dark Warwich, people are now the whole argument is which one is better between the original Warwich and the Dark Warwich. And I'm on the Dark Warwich side. So, yeah, I keep telling people, I was like, because people keep gravitating towards the original. I was like, that's cool. But I was like, the new one? Oh, yeah. Because like I said, the Corojo 99 wrapper changed the profile. It added floral notes to the blend. And it's stronger, too. So for those that wanted a stronger version, that's why I did it, So both of them are great blends.
So you started not in Chicago at Underground Cigars, and now I assume you are in the Chicagoland area. So do you ever go to a lounge and like creep on people in the sense of, I don't mean like creepy, but I mean like, hey, what are you smoking? What do you and then you go, oh, you're smoking, okay, Black Star. I love them. They're really good. Or do you and then you kind of like quiz them? What do you like about it? Or do you just come straight out and say, hey, I'm Aric. I actually that's my company. What do you think of the cigar?
Well, I don't actually when I'm at home, I actually don't go to a lot of lounges, bro. Because if I'm going to lounge, I feel like I'm working and I can't enjoy my cigar. So
That's
a lot
fair.
of times, 90% of the time, I'm right here where I'm talking to you and I sit in here and smoke. This is my think tank here. So I could play whatever music I want, and my wife doesn't come out here. This is a sacred area, so she doesn't come out here. And the fellas come over. We could talk, laugh, cry, and fight. And it's all within this man cave. Nothing leaves this man cave. This is our sanctuary. But when I do go to lounges, I mean, people could tell by what I'm wearing because I don't have a branded shirt on. I have my hat on. But a lot of times when I'm going to lounges, I'll have on a Black Starline shirt or a hoodie or something that says Black Starline, a polo. And people know I'm affiliated with the company one way or another. And they may not know I'm the owner, but they know I'm with the company in some form or fashion.
So you're not the one to go incognito.
Nah, I always have something Black Starline on. So it's kind of hard to. Now Cliff, he's the one. He's more
That's
so.
What he said.
Yeah, he's Cliff is more out than me. Like he'll go to lounges, he'll sit, and he'll smoke, he'll talk to people about the cigars. That's more his thing. Because when we're out of town, bro, like each city I'm in, I do at least 3 events, and then before I go to those events, I'll hit like 3 lounges before I go to the event. So that's enough lounges for me. When I come home, I want to just be around family. Like if my daughter's 7, if she wants to come out and see me, she'll come out and play on the driveway and stuff while I'm sitting here smoking and you know, she'll just harass me a little bit like she's supposed to. So, but yeah, when I'm at home, I try to do family time, you know, because that's important, man. Because I'm on the road a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to kind of focus on some of your big achievements, accomplishes, and you had a really big achievement this year
Yeah.
with a company called Benny's. So I'm
Yep.
going to give you the floor to brag about this amazing achievement because it really is.
Yeah.
There's not a whole there. You were the first, so
Hmm.
I will let you go ahead and tell that story on how that happened. But expound on it. Let us know how that worked out, how that happened.
Yeah. So in February of this year, we got picked up by Benny's in all 47 of the locations. Benny's is a liquor store chain. It is very similar to Specs or Total Wine and some of the other liquor stores in the South. But Benny's is like a Midwest version of those stores. The difference is between Benny's and those stores is they have humidors, and Benny's has humidors. But Benny's actually has a humidor manager in each one of their stores. So as opposed to like say Total Wine, where if you walk in the humidor, it's just cigars in there. There's nobody in there to talk to you about, hey, this is what's new, this is what's good, that type of thing. But Benny's, they
They
actually
have a
smoke the cigars in there.
tobacconist.
Yeah, and they know how to, you know, recommend a cigar to whoever's
Sure.
coming in. So yeah, we worked hard as hell to get carried by Benny's. It helped out tremendously that we're rolled by Aganorsa Leaf because
Sure.
Jack is the buyer from Benny's and he actually knows Terrence. So when I sent him the samples, he actually called Terrence just to verify that the sticks were from Aganorsa, and Terrence was like, "Hell yeah, they're from Aganorsa. That's our product." So that helped out tremendously. Unbeknownst to me, Jack had been watching us for a long time because he had been hearing about us because people were coming into the humidors and asking for our sticks, and they didn't have them. So he had been watching us on social media, you know, seeing what I was doing, how we were growing, and then it came time for him to smoke them, man, and he liked them. And then it wasn't just him; it was other tobacconists that that were in the humidors that smoked them, and they were all unanimous, like, "Hey, we need to bring these in." And I'm the first black-owned line to ever be carried. I'm the only black-owned line carried at Benny's right now. But that's
Cheers.
not those are all things, brother. Those aren't the only first. I was the first black online carried by Small Batch. I'm the first black online to be to work with Aganorsa. Yeah, so it's we opened some doors, you know, and just working hard and bringing out great product.
So, for those of you that don't know what Benny's is, just to give you a little bit more insight, now the Benny's that I am familiar with in Bloomington Normal, Illinois, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure Aric knows,
Yeah.
right there on Veterans Parkway,
Mm-hmm.
Benny's actually has a walk-in humidor. So
Mm-hmm.
it is not just an accomplishment to be in a liquor store humidor, but they are a legit walk-in,
Yeah.
staffed walk-in humidor. So for you to be in there, like, did you just go out and like celebrate like crazy? I mean, you had to have, right? That's a that's a huge fucking accomplishment, right? I mean,
Yeah, it is.
and for you starting in
Mm.
2018, if anything, that had to cement your drive a lot more,
Yeah.
and it cemented your company a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what
But
kind of doors have been? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I'm a very humble guy, man. So I was really, like you said, I was ecstatic about being there. But I'm not. I don't brag about anything. I'm the type of person that I just let the product speak for itself. Um, I Benny's added a lot more work for me because now, whenever I have, that's another reason why I don't go to lounges. Is because a lot of times I'm standing in one of the humidors here in Benny's, you know, because I like for people to meet me and I can talk to them
Sure.
about the cigars and that helps to sell. And
Sure.
my cigars are standing up right along with a La Aurora or any other big company that's in there. My cigars are selling just as well, if not better, than them. So
This is
we're doing the
phenomenal.
yeah. Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah, we're doing a great job in there. Like I said, we try to get by and meet all the tobacconists and get to the locations and when if time permits. And and they love it because they get reps to come in there all the time, and the reps might stop in there for 15, 20 minutes. Shit, I'll stay in there an hour and a half. Doesn't matter to me. I was like, hey, this is work for me, so I'll stay and talk and sell cigars, and sometimes I sell other cigars in there too. So they got like somebody else helping them.
Absolutely, and to be honest with you, like to be just completely, which is why most people don't see protocol reviews for me anymore. Not necessarily to name drop with another brand on the show. I apologize, but
I know Juan. He's a cool
dude. I do the same thing when I go into Smoking Cave. I'm right there with them. I'm just going there to smoke cigars or buy cigars myself, and that brings in a lot of trust when you start doing that. And when you're willing to recommend other cigars outside of your own, that brings in more trust. So when you're showing people cigars, what kind of questions are you asking them to place them in the right cigar?
I normally ask them how strong they like to smoke. That's really the ultimate question, because then once I know how strong you like to smoke, then I know which one of my cigars you probably gonna like. Like if somebody says they like to smoke mild, now mind you, I don't make a mild cigar. So what I'll do is I'll tell them, hey, you need to grab the sun grown habano. Now it isn't mild, but it's not like punching your face strong either. Like I was like, I always tell people like you can smoke this and you're not gonna go lay over in the corner and go to sleep. I was like, it's very flavorful, got great flavor profile, and it's got some string to it, but it's not knock you out string. It may be slightly stronger than what you're accustomed to, but it's time to graduate a little bit. So then and a lot of people are fine with that. So, but the strength is key, because I don't want to put somebody in a Lalibela and then they smoke mild, but this cigar would demolish them. So,
correct, and then they walk away with a bad name.
Yeah, and then they won't buy anymore because they're like, oh shit, his last time I smoked this cigar, I was laying under an underpass somewhere.
They kicked my ass.
And I don't want that. If it's gonna kick your ass, I want it to be a good kick ass, not like, oh, I'm not smoking that no more. Yeah, I don't want that to happen.
It's funny that you say that. So I was a cigarette smoker for a huge chunk of my life, right?
Okay.
And I've always smoked cigars, but I never smoked cigars the way, or appreciated cigars, I should say, the way I do at this point in time in my life. I'm obsessed with them. I smoke 1, 2, 3 cigars a day. Yeah, and you probably smoke shit ton more than I do. And
average about 3 a day.
Okay, that's about we're about to get. I have yet to find a cigar that's ever put me down, but I have given people a cigar that I know that smoke, and I'm like, here, try this, and it has laid them flat. So like it's very important to gauge that person's both expertise and so when you're asking, do you ask them what they eat, what they drink, what their liquor is? Like, do you do pairings?
Not food, but I would. I have pairings for all my cigars, so I'll talk to them about pairings if they're interested in the pairing. Because as we, when we're in the back room, a lot of people don't drink scotch, and a lot of stuff I have, it is paired with scotch. Outside of like War, the original War, which is paired with Four Roses single barrel. Lalibela is Larceny small batch. Dark War, which is Willet pot still. Then the Sun-Grown Habano is Brook Lottie Classic Lottie. And then the Corojo 99 version of El Milagro is Brook Lottie Port Charlotte 10. So, it just depends on if you like Port Charlotte 10 is a little smoky. So if you don't like smoky stuff, you may not like that pairing. But what I also do is I challenge people, hey, I was like, these are my pairings. And what I found was good with them. But if you find one that's even better, man, shoot me a DM, an email, text me, whatever it is. And whatever pairing you think is good, I'll test it out. I like bringing bottles in the house. So, hey, that increased the man cave fun. So, yeah, well, that's all. I'm retired, bro. So all I do is sit up and smoke and drink and pair shit.
Well, like I said, you're coming here to Smoking Cave. Let's definitely plug that. I love Sean.
Yeah.
This show would not exist without Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge. So they are my home base. They are my Denver love of a humidor. So go ahead and plug really quick about you
Yeah.
coming out here. Give the date. If there's
Yeah.
any promotions that you know that are going to be taking place, please go ahead and share them. And I plan on trying
Okay.
to bring you a bottle of the
Oh, my man.
Hillshine. I'm gonna talk to Axe and Oak, and I'm sure they'll do it. But I'm gonna try to bring you a bottle of the Lafroig aged Hillshine. So
My
go
man, I
ahead and
appreciate
tell
it.
us real quick. Oh, of course, dude. Go ahead and tell us real quick about that event, when it's gonna be.
June 24th, I will be at Smoking Cave. The event is from 4 to 7. And we're going to be doing raffles, and we probably we will have maybe ashtrays, some shirts, some glasses. We may even raffle some cigars. So yeah, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna. I may bring some of the pairings for the cigars. So when you buy, I'll give you a free pour of whatever the pairing is, so you can actually experience what I put together, and then see if you like it or not. And then if if you're up for the challenge, say, hey, find a better pairing for me.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
if
So
you
yeah,
tell
4 to
him
7, June 24th.
if you tell him you saw him on this show, he'll take a picture with you. So I'm gonna bring in a few guest comments here. First off,
Okay.
hey, how you doing, Cigar Show Tim? Tim's another one. If you don't know who Cigar Show Tim is, Aric, definitely look him up. Reach
Okay.
out to him. He is a big player in the industry, and
Nice.
he is one of the most evolved palates in his reviews and how he does it. So
Okay.
big shout out to Tim. Much support and love to him as well. But we have Dan Thompson. If you don't know who Dan is the essentially the president of McAuliffe Cigars. And he
Nice.
says here it's very critical to know how your body hits with the nicotine in that moment. So let's kind of get on nicotine for a second. What kind of nicotine strength? Because there are two different ways to look at body, right? And strength in general. There's some people that roll body and strength together, and there's some people that piece it out. Myself, so we can get terms, I piece out body with how heavy the cigar feels, and I piece out strength with how that nicotine hits. Now, I'm not a good judge of nicotine because I was a cigarette smoker for the vast majority of my life. Nicotine doesn't hit me, right? I know, right? Nicotine doesn't hit me the way it does others. But let's kind of walk through how when you blend, do you try to alleviate that nicotine strength and go for more of the body? How is your thought process in that?
Well, I'm kind of the same with you, whereas the body and the strength are different. Like the body is the amount of smoke that's the output of smoke, how it feels in your mouth, and then the strength, like I said, comes from the ligero, and I don't know how to separate the two just yet. You know, I just tell them
by the way,
exactly.
this does not have a lot of nicotine hit,
Right.
but it's a strong cigar.
Yeah. So I pretty much just tell them what strength I'm looking for, man. I don't really go much further than that. Now, mind you, I've never been to Nicaragua, so everything I do, I've been to El Titan, and I've sat in there and watched them roll and talked about tobacco and so on and so forth. But I'll be going to Aganorsa down in Esteli in February, so that's going to increase my knowledge to be able to, separate that and be able to deal with it more, but I won't be able to do that until I get there. Cause I need to be in the factory. And I need to sit in there and I need to watch them rolling and talk to them more and that type of thing. But yeah, I just tell them like what the strength is that I want, and based off of what I'm telling them and what they know I like, that's how they know how much ligero to put in there, and then that's where the strength comes from.
So have you ever told your manufacturers it's too much on the strength side. And I'm only asking that because you said you were kind of like me with the nicotine doesn't necessarily maybe hit you as hard, but do you ever tell them to like back off on that?
See, historically, I like strong cigars.
I do too. That's what I
But
do too.
it's got to be balanced though.
Sure.
Like it can't be just straight punching in your face, and that's all you tasting is all you're getting is strength and ligedo. I don't know. It's like the Mistress. You smoke that one by Cornelius and Anthony? They had they got a cigar called the Mistress. If you could find it, get it. I'll be curious on what you think of it. It's strong as shit, and it's almost like the strength overpowers the notes in cigar, and that's what I don't want. Now, if it's like that, then yeah, we need to scale back on the ligedo, so the flavor profile and the characteristics of the other tobacco can shine. I do not want that little ligedo to overtake everything in the cigar, because otherwise, I mean, you're just smoking to get high, basically. I want you to be like, oh, well, I taste cedar in there, I taste XYZ. Because the whole thing about smoking cigars is to keep building your palate, and that's why it's important to keep smoking different stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't smoke the same thing. Even with my cigars,
sure.
I don't smoke a whole lot of my cigars because, for one, I don't get high off my own supply. And then two, I don't want to trap my palate, bro. Because some people like, I'm just gonna throw a cigar out. The H. Upmann Banker is my favorite cigar, and that's all I smoke. When you tell me that, that means your palate is trapped. That's the only thing you know is that tobacco. That's it. So I try to smoke everybody's stuff from good to bad because that builds my palate. It lets me know if the tobacco is cheap or not, or if it's just not a good blend and that type of thing. So it's important. So when I say I smoke three cigars a day, in my personal collection, I can smoke 3 cigars a day every day for 2 weeks and not smoke the same thing. And I have to keep doing that. It's almost like if you eat the same meal every day, and it's your favorite meal, but you're eating it every day. That shit's gonna get boring as fuck. So I would get bored with my own cigars if that's all I smoked. But I smoke Tatuajes and Roma Crafts and Fuentes. I smoke some of those, and I mean it's across the board. I smoke everybody's stuff, even the smaller guys. People give me their cigars, I'll smoke them because they want my feedback on them. So begrudgingly, I'll smoke them. But it was and I say begrudgingly because I ask too many questions. Like if you say you got a cigar line, then I get to asking like, okay, so where is it rolled at? Tell me about it, and that type of thing. And then if you start talking about, oh, well, I got an NDA not to say where my cigars are from and this other bullshit, it turns me off. And then it automatically makes me think it's a bundle cigar. And I was like, if it's a bundle cigar, this is not your cigar. You own the band. You don't own the cigar. So that turns me. I'll still smoke it and I'll get feedback. And if I can't make it past halfway, then I'm cutting that bitch open to see what's in the filler and see what the tobacco look like. See if you even got long filler in there or is it short filler, So I try not to be. What I try to do is somebody tries to give me their cigar, I'll try to buy it from them. Because if I gave you my money for it, then I can give you my absolute flat out feedback on it. If you just give it to me, I might just be kind of soft on the feedback. Because I didn't pay for it. But due to my prior occupation as a firefighter, all the money I earned, I risked my life for that shit. So I've been in numerous winters on somebody's roof, cutting a hole in that bitch, and there's fire shooting out of there, and the roof is slippery. I use that money to fund Black Starline cigars. So I take my money very seriously, because I wasn't sitting behind a desk earning money. So, so that's why I like to pay for a cigar that another company is trying to give to me, because I want to give you the honest feedback because I gave you my money. And even if I don't like it, at least you got paid for it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm not a manufacturer. I would love to one day have just a cigar to give out for fans and people in boxes that has my name on it. But I don't think I would like to bring something inside of a store because of what you just said. Like you know, but when I get brand owners that reach out to me on almost
I'm gonna turn the light on. Go ahead and talk.
Good. I get brand owners that reach out to me on almost a daily basis that will say, "Hey, can I send you some cigars?" And I have one rule, and I've explained this when I do, because I do cigar reviews. I do a review every Tuesday.
Okay.
And I've explained this to people, like, if I'm smoking it, I somewhat find something good about it if I'm doing a review. And that is my tactful way of letting brand owners know when they go, "Hey, we're going to send you something. Will you review it?" And I go, "Sure." But if you don't see a video, it's because I don't want to be negative to what you built. Because I am a firm believer that every cigar has a buyer, but not every cigar finds its buyer. And so I don't ever want to be the guy that rips a cigar up and down, that talks shit about a cigar, because, you know, like you I mean, right? Like, am I wrong? I don't know, but like,
that's what you do in private. Yeah.
Yes.
You trash it in private. You know, I'll never trash anybody's cigar in public. But if you're in here with me, if you ask me about it, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I thought of it.
Oh, dude, when you come out here to the Smoky Cave on the 24th, dude, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna give you some cigars that I absolutely can't stand. And I've had no, not give them to you, but just talk to you about them.
Okay.
Because I've had brand owners send me cigars. They're like, "You've only reviewed one of them." I was like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah, because it sucked.
Because I wasn't going to rip apart your product, because I have too much respect to the fact that you gave it to me. And I also try to, when I do review a cigar, and let's just let me gauge your opinion on this, because I've seen your cigars reviewed by other people. And would you rather have somebody give their opinion, give what they taste? What would you rather have them do?
A little bit of both. More so the taste and the profile of it, so people can know, you know, exactly what that person. Now, the taste is subjective, because I mean, somebody else may smoke and they may get something out of it, and as you know, like what we talked about before. Yeah, like based on what you've been eating or what you pair with it, it'll change the tobacco, or the taste of the tobacco. So, yeah, a little bit of both. I definitely like the opinion, and then, you know, of course, talk about what you got out of there, unless you're half-will and they smoke my Warwick's Lancetto and they were talking about Brooks said he got notes of peanut butter out of there, and I was like, I don't know where the fuck you got that shit from. I smoked a whole bunch of Warwick's and I never got peanut butter out of there. So I don't know if he starts
his day with peanut butter.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a nice spoonful of chunky Jif before he had the cigar or what, but I was just like, all right, bro, I guess, you know. But they have weird notes that they put in there. Like Terrence told me on one review, and I didn't see the review, but they said that the cigar had dried ketchup notes in it. And I was like, well, for one, how the fuck do you know what dried ketchup tastes like?
Who eats dried ketchup?
Not me. So I'd never pull that out of a cigar, but they did. So hey, whatever. But
it's like saying I had mayo out of a cigar almost.
Yeah. Somebody asked me if I get blueberries out of Warwick, and I was like, no. But I mean, if you enjoy it, bro, run with it.
No, absolutely. And you know what? I get people that ask me all the time, like, how do you get like graham cracker? Like, how do you get? And my first question to them is, how many cigars do you smoke a year?
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you asking that? And I tell them, because if I give you a glass of whiskey and ask you to taste the notes in it, you're going to go, I taste heat. I taste the burn. I don't taste anything because I don't drink enough of it. Cigars are the same way. You have to smoke. Yeah. You have to smoke probably at least a cigar every other day, or a couple cigars a day, and refine your palate. So when you
That's
hear,
what I was talking about, building the palate.
yeah, so when you hear a weird, because I've heard some people, without giving the cigar, I've heard some people go, "Oh, I've gotten like blueberry shortcake out of that cigar." And I'm like, really? Like, okay, and then usually my follow-up question is, by the way, Tim says here, he reviewed one of the War Witches. Definitely go
Oh,
back and
cool.
check.
Yeah, I
Definitely
didn't
go
know
back
that. I
and
have to
check
check it
that
out.
out. Tim has a very refined palate.
Okay.
But when people tell me I got a weird flavor out of it, right? Because your basic flavors is a woody and earthy, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
chocolate, some cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
like it's
Yeah,
nothing
cocoa.
crazy. Cocoa, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when people
Mm-hmm.
tell me I got like, ambrosia salad or blueberry cheesecake, I'm always like, my next question is, did you enjoy the cigar? And they go, yeah. And I go, that's what matters.
Like, yeah, I got it. It tastes like a chicken Caesar salad. I'm like, the fuck? Did you just eat a chicken Caesar salad? Maybe that's why.
Right? Like, did
Maybe
you
you got
not
some
rinse
lettuce
your
in your
mouth?
back molar. I don't know. You get that weird shit. I'm not. All of that's weird shit to me. Like you said, it's
No,
the
right.
basic notes. And then if you enjoy the fucking cigar or not.
Mm-hmm.
But like with whiskey and cigars, this kind of same, because you gotta engage all your senses. So like with whiskey, you're supposed to nose it, get what you get off the smell, then you taste it. But
Correct.
I'm at events, like I said, I'll if I have the pairings with me, I'll give out the pairing, and then I pour it, and then they just slam it like it's a shot, and I was like, you were supposed to just sip that with the cigar. I'm not just giving you shots, you know.
So,
And the same thing with cigars. Like, if you really want to enjoy everything out of that cigar, you got to retrohale. If you're not retrohaling it, you missing
thank
everything in that
you.
cigar.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody watching that doesn't retrohale. I asked that question on my lightning round. I don't have to now. I am a firm believer there's 39, I think it's like 39 olfactory glands in your nose.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't retro, you miss, in my
Yeah.
opinion, at least 50% of that cigar,
Yeah.
because your mouth only really take, like, when you see people eat, they eat first with their nose
Mm-hmm.
before they
Mm-hmm.
eat with their mouth. So when you
Yeah, it's the
have
smell.
that conversation with somebody and they go, I don't retrohale, what is your response? Listen,
I laugh.
everybody.
I laugh. I actually laugh because we'll flat out tell them like, oh, you haven't really smoked a cigar yet, then, because I'm like, you missed a whole lot because
You're
you're not
not getting your
retrohaling.
money's worth.
Yeah, and that's how I'll catch. If a cigar is bad and I'm retrohaling it and I'm still not getting anything out of it, I'm not going to continue to smoke it. Because if I can't get what's out of that cigar in that retrohale, there's no need for me to continue. I got better things to do.
So since we're on retrohale, first off,
Mm-hmm.
I do want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
if you light up another brand cigar, don't have to give
Mm-hmm.
any names, I won't ask you to, and that
Mm-hmm.
cigar, how far into a cigar do you give before you're like, I'm good? Life is too short to smoke this.
It depends on how bad it pisses me off. So yeah, bro. like a lot of times I've gotten to the point, man, like in the first 3 or 4 puffs, I could tell if the cigar ain't shit or not. But
Really?
I'll keep
Okay.
smoking it. Yeah, I'll keep smoking it. And I like to say I'll let you get to halfway of the stick. And if it's not better by halfway, then that means that second half, there's no need for me to smoke the second half because I'm just like, I wasted half the cigar already. If it's really bad, I might put it down in the first third. Mm-hmm.
Right here, Tim says he enjoyed both of the War Witches.
Oh, thank you, brother. I'm glad you enjoyed them, and thank you for checking us out.
And then we have Cliff, who has been blowing this up. Cliff, keep blowing up the comments, please. Appreciate you to Tim. And Tim even says you have to retrohale.
Yes.
So
Mandatory.
when you are doing that, what is your, like, if you've noticed, I retrohale about every other drag, every other pull I take. Do you structure your retrohale? Do you do like, oh, I'll do it here, did I do it halfway, or do you
No,
retrohale when you feel like it?
this depends on how I feel. Sometimes I retrohale a lot. Like every pull, every other pull. Because if I like the retrohale, I want to keep getting that experience. So
Yes,
I'll keep doing it.
yes, yes.
But it's just a subconscious thing, bro. Sometimes I'm doing it now. I've been doing this for so long now that sometimes I do it and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So,
Yes.
but it's like Tim said, it's mandatory. If you want to enjoy everything out of the cigar, or if you want to catch some bullshit in the cigar, retrohale it, and you'll see. And if it's good, not the retrohale will tell you.
I also think, correct me if you think differently, but I also think that the retrohale is really the only way to, right from the light up, judge body. Because,
Yeah,
well,
maybe.
not as far as the heaviness of it, because if it's coming out the gate knocking your sinuses off, it might be that way the whole way through. That's going to give you a good representation of it. No, I'm a big fan of retrohale. I've had some people tell me they don't, and my usual line retort to that is, then you're overpaying for every one of your cigars.
That's
because you're not getting it. You're not getting anything out of it. The same way with cigars and food, you have to incorporate your nose. So
it's important to engage all those senses.
So do you when you smoke your cigars? One of my really good friends, Daniel Ravanelli from 505 Cigar Review, he is really big on the foot smell. Do you when you are testing your cigars, do you go off of the foot smell at all? Do you go off of the ambient smell?
Yeah, I'll smell the foot. I'll smell the wrapper. I'll do a cold draw. Yeah, the typical stuff. If you have time or if you have the interest in doing it, I'll do it. I don't do it all the time, but I will smell the tobacco and see what I get out of it before I even light it. Even the cold draw, you get notes out of the cold draw before you even light it. So, in my opinion, if you want to be traditional and you want to go through all the steps on how to enjoy a cigar, you need to smell the foot, smell the wrapper, do a cold draw, light it, retrohale, all that stuff. So all that's important if you want to get everything out of the cigar.
So now I want to focus for the last time that we have here. We still got some time, but I want to focus on what makes you tick. What does Aric do when Aric is not Aric Bey, but he's Aric Bey, the family person? What do you do? What is your relaxation?
Watch movies and TV shows. I work out a lot, so I try to stay in shape. I actually getting back into shape because I tore the labrum in my hip really bad on the job, and that's why I'm not working now because the injury ended my career. So, so pretty much, like I said, if I'm not smoking and drinking whiskey, I'm just hanging out with my wife. We're watching TV, or either the Mayans or Better Call Saul, or we're watching some movies. The last movie that we watched was and it was ridiculous. Was Ambulance with what's that dude's name? I forget his name. It just came out a little while ago. I forget the white guy's name. Fuck. He was in Nightcrawler. You know the movie Nightcrawler? Have you seen that?
No.
No, I'll try. If you see him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't remember his name, but the black guy's name is Yaya something. And
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, that's his name. Yeah. So that's their movie. It's a Michael Bay film. So it was just like it really had it really wasn't dialogue. It was just all like a car chase. It was like 2 hours worth of a car chase in an ambulance. So, and it was just, and then I'm over analyzing it because I've been in so many ambulances. I'm like, that shit don't go like that. They working on somebody in the back, and and they're not hanging on anything. They're just standing there, and they're driving at 100 miles per hour on a high speed chase, you know, and they're doing compressions on a guy back there, and they're not like, you know, trying to brace themselves from all the different shifting. So it was just like really a lot of over sensationalized bullshit, and it was like really like there wasn't a lot of. I mean, there was dialogue, but the plot was weak. So
have you seen do you watch the Marvel stuff? Have you seen Spider-Man, the newest ones?
Yeah, I'm a big time comic book fan, man.
Uncharted.
I grew up. Yeah.
Uncharted, you have to watch it.
I watched it, bro. I was a fan of the video game, and I was just like,
I thought it did it a lot of justice. I thought Tom Holland did an amazing job. I thought for a video game rendition of a movie, it was done well. Yeah. But I will agree.
It wasn't bad.
Every video game movie pretty much sucks.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah. But I mean, I love them all because I go into every movie expecting to be let down.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a big time Marvel fan. I grew up collecting comic books. I still have like 1,000 comic books at my mom's house. You know, so I'm really ingrained in comic book movies. So not so much DC, but Marvel.
So then, when you get, do you have any children?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daughter's 7, and my son is how old is he? Maybe 24 and maybe 24, I think, in November. If he sees this, he's gonna laugh. Yeah, so, that's my baby boy. I think he's 24.
So when you are doing stuff with your son and your daughter, what's some of the most favorite things to do with your son, and what's some of your most favorite things to do with your daughter?
Well, I'm a natural born troll. So my daughter got that, honestly, bro. Like, she's good too at 7. She'll troll the hell out of you and be good at it too. But with her, man, I like to work.
Oh, what? I guess his signal died off here. We were having, this was going great, and then I guess his signal died off. Let me see here. Sorry about this, everyone. This was I don't understand what happened. He had great reception, and then he lost it. So, but while Aric is coming back on and gonna be, sorry. All right. Well, until Aric comes back on, I don't know why he is frozen here, but I'm sure he'll jump back in. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Aric, sorry about. I don't either. That was weird. But go ahead, continue. So with your daughter,
yeah, with my daughter, we hang around, we troll, we laugh, watch movies, work out. Because she likes to work out. And then with my son, he'll smoke cigars. He's more so a weed guy, but he'll smoke cigars. So that's our bonding time, because he knows I'm sitting out here, so he'll come out here and sit with me, and we talk. And he has like an event business that he has. They curate art and they have jazz shows and that type of thing. So yeah, it's called 237 Entertainment, and he has events that he throws in the DC area, and he also throws events in Brooklyn. So so he's doing a good job. He goes to Howard University. He's a senior. He said he has 2 classes left, so I hope he finishes it sometime soon, because there's only 2 classes.
Shit. So, congratulations that he got into
thanks,
Howard.
Brother.
Holy shit.
Yeah, good
that
school.
Is an Ivy League school for sure. Congratulations on that. You clearly did everything right on your end. So that's awesome. So let me get really real with you for a second. Father to father, I have an 11-month-old daughter.
Okay.
What would you give as a great piece of advice for somebody with a daughter that I don't have any other kids? It's just a daughter. what would you say to somebody that had a daughter that asked you for a best piece of advice?
Be a stand-up man. You know, because
Okay.
you want your daughter to grow up and ideally find somebody that's similar to you or has the same principles that you have.
Yep.
You know, you don't want them to grow up and then they find somebody that's like, you know, they a dope dealer or, you know, they into some crooked shit and they beat her and all kinds of stuff. And it's important that the kids see your relationship with your spouse or whoever your significant other is, so they can see what love is actually about and
Sure.
how a proper relationship is supposed to be run. Because if you grow up in a dysfunctional household, then it's a lot of times they think that's normal. So they'll grow up in their household to be dysfunctional as well, and that's what you don't want. So
Absolutely.
you lead by example and show them how. Now if they gravitate towards that anyway, shit, it ain't my fault because I showed you different. So you know, yeah, I don't come home with with coke under my nose and try to make my wife eat the cake like Ike Turner. You know, so it doesn't fucking happen. You know? So yeah, but the best you gonna get out of me, I come home smelling like cigars, and I made reek of whiskey, but you know, I'm relaxed and I'm drunk. That's about it. You gonna get from me. You know, but you can't.
so so
Yeah,
so
you can't show them wrong.
so Cliff says, don't do anything in your youth that will follow you as an adult.
Hmm. 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 Yeah,
So
yeah. If you running for office, if you plan on running for office, you might not want to be on the stripper pole. That's not a good look.
or say grab them by something, right? Right. That's
Right,
probably
right,
not the best, you know.
right, right.
So that's as political as we get on the show there, right there. That one line.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get a little real with you then. What
Mm-hmm.
would you have a 24-year-old son, you have a 7-year-old
Mm-hmm.
daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So what was so different about your son growing up to how your daughter is growing up? And I don't mean how you're raising them. I mean society, the world,
Mm-hmm.
the age, because you have a big gap between both. So what have you
Yeah, two different women.
experienced? Yeah. So what have you
Um,
experienced?
well, my son thought he was as he was growing up, he thought he was pretty slick, but he didn't know as a kid I was slicker. So it was hard for him to get stuff past me because I was just like, dude, I used to do that shit, but I was better. Like I'm like, dude, you're sloppy. What the fuck are you doing? You're sloppy. You know. So you know, he caught a lot of heat from me because originally he was staying with his mom, and it got to the point she couldn't handle him anymore. So she brought him to me, and it took me a while to get him straight, you know. But he needed me, you know, to get him in order, and that's why he does well now. Because I mean, I was stepping his ass all the time. I had no problem doing it,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
My daughter is not. She's like I said, she's a jokester, but she's not trying to be slick about anything. She's very what's the word? Like innocent. And she's if she feels like she did something wrong, like she'll actually like write a
Tell
little
it
letter out.
herself.
She'll write a little letter out and she'll come to you and read the letter like, yo, I'm sorry I did this, blah blah blah. This is where I was wrong.
That
So
is so
yeah,
cute.
it's way
That is
different.
so
Yeah, it's
cute.
different. Whereas my son, shit, he'll do some shit and then he'll just lie about it, and knowing I know, and he'll keep lying about it. So, and I'll tell him like, "Hey, man, if you keep lying about it, that makes me want to spank you more. So
Right?
it's best to just like come clean and then don't do it anymore. You know.
Absolutely.
So,
See,
but
I
girls and
was the
boys are different, bro.
oh, for sure. I was the black sheep in my family. And I honestly, when it comes to like my brother and my sister, they
Hmm.
did nothing wrong in the eyes of
Okay.
my folks. And literally, I
Hmm.
would wake up and it would be something wrong. So, like, I
Yeah.
learned really quick that I had to kind of do my best to hide whatever I was doing. I got good at it. And so because of that, I feel like you, where it's like if my daughter comes home and thinks I'm not going to, we live in Colorado. I'm not stupid. She's probably going to smoke pot at some point in her life. I'm going to be like, you're not going to ever be able to hide that from me. Like, it's just not going to happen. Just be honest with me. So
it's a pungent smell, so you're not going to be able to hide that at all.
I always thought I could hide it from my parents.
Unless you got a real good spray that you could spray yourself that masked it. Otherwise, and I got a nose like a dog, bro. So like when my son come in the house, and and he's grown, and he'll come in, and as soon as he walks in the door, I can smell him. And I'm like, nah, bro, we don't do that. Nah, you can't come in and smelling like that, bro. Like, so you better spray your something. Go take a shower or something. You're not gonna be around here just crop dusting us with that fucking like pig pen on fucking Charlie Brown. You're not doing that shit in my house now.
Oh my God, this hurts. Oh, jeez. So I would be remiss without talking to a fellow Chicagoan about food.
Okay.
Food. Because Chicago, that is the one thing I miss. I am not, and I'll be honest with you, I grew up in Evergreen Park. You grew up, is it, probably like 10 miles from Evergreen, maybe 5?
No, I actually grew up in Glenwood, in the south suburbs. I went to Bloom High School in Chicago Heights.
So that's like within 10 miles of Evergreen. Like that's close, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit further, but it's not far.
No, it's not. So for me, I've always been a country boy. I spent my summers on 10 acres in Ocala, Florida, at my granny and granddad's, shooting, hunting, fishing. That has been my life. So I go back to Chicago, and you can't do any of it. So Chicago's never been like where I've ever felt like I wanted to stay. However, if I stand up and you look at me, you go, well, you like to eat. And Chicago is where I miss for food, especially out here in Denver. So let's real quick run through what are some of your favorite restaurants in Chicago, and you better say Portillo's.
Well, this will throw you for a loop. I haven't eaten meat in like 14 years, bro. So I don't eat meat. Cheese very little because it makes me real gassy, and then my wife feel like she can't be in the room with me if I get too much cheese because I'm just cracking off every 5 minutes. So as far as like plant-based restaurant, Chicago Diner is good on the north side. Majani on the east side is good. Where else would I go? Handlebar in Wicker
you don't
Park.
Do pizza?
Every once in a while. Baracos.
Yes!
Giordano's,
love Baracos, of course.
And what's the other one? Lou Malnati's.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm a fat kid both at heart and in person. So I when it comes to pizza, Portillo's, I miss that. So what around you where you live, and I'm not asking you to give where you as far as the area you live in, but what do you like to do in the Chicago area when you're not Aric Bey, Black Starline? Do you like to go to parks? Do you like to go fishing? Do you like to do anything like that?
I'll go out with my wife. We'll go out to dinner, go hang out downtown or something, or we'll do like a staycation downtown. Get a hotel room, stay there a day or two. Just so I can get away from the norm. We just go and hang out. As far as like outdoor stuff, I never liked outdoor stuff. Like I was a horrible Cub Scout because they got to talking about they wanted to spend the night in the woods, and I had seen Friday the 13th too many times, and I was like, nah. I was like, nah. I've seen that movie. I know what happens out there. So no, I'm good. You know. So yeah, I wouldn't really. I'm not really an outdoors type dude. Like people talk about, hey man, let's go camping or go to a cabin. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going. So, yeah, unless I got a Desert Eagle so I can shoot the bear or some shit. You know. So, but
So since you
yeah,
brought
nah.
it up, are you a gun guy?
Yeah, I built AR-15s. I got
Good for
AR-12. I
you.
got several handguns, Glocks, Springfield. My everyday carry right now is a Springfield Hellcat.
Okay, so you have a CCW license in Illinois,
Oh yeah,
which by
yeah,
the way,
Illinois, Florida. Mm-hmm.
if anybody ever wants to live in Illinois and get a CCW, it's gonna cost you about $500. About $100 to $200 for the class, and about $200 to $300 for the license. I was
Yeah.
licensed in Illinois. I'm a huge gun guy. So I live next to 3 military bases here in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
I think here we go. Here's a Chicago reference for you. They should do like Stu, push it, pull it, or tow it to Golf Mill Ford.
yeah, that's a throwback. Yeah, that's a throwback right there.
So, where at what point in time inside Black Starline will you feel and I'm not talking about the accomplishments you've had now, which have been huge, but when will you feel that you as a brand have made it? What will that take?
When we're actually turning a profit, because I mean, just like any other business, you know, when they say if you're under 5 years, you're not making any money.
No,
you know, because all my money, I make a lot of money, but all the money goes back into buying more product and swag and that type of thing. So, once we're all the way in the black, that's when I know, you know, that we've made it. You know, right now we since I've actually had the cigars in hand from El Titan, it's been like 2 years and 8 months. So we're babies, bro. You know. So, but in that 2 years and in some odd months, we've been, as you know, we've been making hella noise and getting placed in several lounges and in very notable places as well. So, yeah, that will be, you know, when I feel like we've made it, when, you know, is more in the bank account than what's going out of the bank account. So.
Well, I just have to say an update on this cigar since I lit it up. This thing has been solid all the way through. I have never touched it up. It has been perfect burn, great flavor, full of flavor. Like this has been solid. If you guys do not or have not had any of Black Starline cigars, definitely do what you can. Climb over people, push through people to get them because they are really, really good. And you know what? Honestly, there is so many cigar brands out there. I feel like there's like 100 new brands every year. So how does Black Starline continue to differentiate themselves?
It's the product, bro, and it's me. I do like we're doing this podcast now. I do a lot of these. I do as many as I can tolerate. I'm traveling. I'm traveling all the time, so people actually get the chance to meet me and talk to me and see what kind of person I am. Because a lot of times that's what really sells cigars. Not only that the product is good, but it's like they like the owner, you know. And they'll buy. Like there's companies that I won't mention that the cigars are great, but they say the owner is an asshole. So I mean, but that's not me. Like I can relate to them and anybody. Like all the experiences I've had from going over to China or different places I've traveled and people I've gone to school with, because I didn't go to an all black school. I've gone to school. Bloom had all different ethnicities in there, so you know, so I had friends that were white and Hispanic and Chinese, and you know, so I could relate to all kinds of different people. So, and I can carry a conversation with you. I don't care where you're from or if you've been in the military. If you've been in the military, then I'll start talking about Cliff because Cliff was in the military. You know what I'm saying? So I use all my experiences, all my work experience, and anything that I've gone through in my life to build a relationship to whoever I'm talking to.
So let me ask you, you have achieved so much as a black cigar company owner.
Yeah.
Do you tell people you make your cigars for, like, would you come up with this? And please, I mean, no, just I'm just asking a question.
Mm.
Do you come up with your cigars for more of the black community? And I ask that because I actually went to a Rocky Patel Bird Lounge in Atlanta, and I was blown away. I I didn't realize how much of the African American community smokes cigars until I went
Yeah.
to Atlanta and I went to a Rocky Patel Bird Lounge in Atlanta. And I was
Mm.
the only, my father in law and I were the only two white guys in the lounge. That's it. I didn't care. I didn't notice that. But
Yeah.
when my father in law was like, I never realized how much of the black community smokes cigars. So
Yeah.
when you do your cigar, do you try to focus on what you guys do for the African American community as far as showing a very successful owner, showing a great
Mm.
image, showing anything that as far as give back? Does that question make sense? I'm trying to not be
Mm.
patronizing because I'm really
Yeah.
not.
I
I'm
make
just
cigars for smokers, bro. The leaf knows
that's
no color.
that's what I'm looking for. Okay,
Yeah, the
great.
leaf knows no
That's what I'm
color.
looking for.
I actually prefer if it's a mixed crowd because, and I say this on every almost lately. I've said this on every interview. If if everybody smoked cigars and drank whiskey, this will be a peaceful fucking world because everybody will be
That's very true.
relaxed and chilling
It's very
and
true.
having great conversations. Because I always have great conversations with people, and it doesn't matter what color they're from, what color they are, what age they are. It's the leaf that's bringing people together. So
Yes.
as far as like racism and hatred and all this other bullshit
Yes.
that's going on, if we
Yes.
all smoked cigars and enjoyed the leaf, a lot of that shit wouldn't exist. You know.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that because I am a firm believer that cigars can solve a lot of everyday problems. But
Oh yeah.
it's the fact that, like, you go into a lounge, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go into a lounge here in Colorado. Douglas County is the eighth wealthiest county in the country. I
Okay.
don't live in Douglas County, but it's just one county north. And one of the things I love about going into lounges is
Mm-hmm.
everybody is equal.
Yeah.
If you buy a $10 cigar, the person that's worth a shit ton more buys a $10 cigar, and you
Yeah.
both can find camaraderie around
Yeah.
that cigar. So,
Yeah.
how much of that experience is rolled into your marketing, your brand, and how you pitch yourself?
Um. Well, I try to market to everybody. If you see, like, if I do a photo shoot, then like I have a hat on normally. A lot of people. It's funny. Like, if I don't have a hat on, some people don't recognize me, and I'm kind of fine with that. But if I have the hat on, they know. Like, they kind of like know, and it's weird, but that's how it is. Um. But when I do photo shoots and even if I'm at events, I'll have a suit on, I'll have a nice expensive hat on, you know, so that I guess that will cater towards like quote unquote, I guess the more affluent people. But then people also know I'm a
Oh,
firefighter. So I'm a blue collar worker as well. So I could span both ends of the spectrum. I could be a blue collar worker if that's what we're talking about. Or if we're talking about money, I could talk about that too. You know, like I said, I'll relate to anybody. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're from, color or age or your income. It doesn't matter. You know, like you said, it'll be a millionaire in there, and it'll be the janitor at the local high school. and they're smoking a similar stick or same price point, and they're not talking about money. They're talking about the leaf. The leaf brings people
Yes.
together.
Yes, I am a firm believer that if more people smoke cigars, more things would be done peacefully.
Yeah.
So I do want to touch really quick because it is absolutely fantastic. You had talked about how you were good friends with Juan. He's a fellow law enforcement agent as well.
Yeah.
How much of your firefighting career, like when you go to a firehouse and they know who you are, do they just expect you're going to bring cigars? Do they support you? Kind of how much of that lifestyle have you brought into your brand?
Yeah, firefighters support me. For first responders support me wholeheartedly. I don't roll around with cigars anymore. Like when I started out, I used to keep cigars. At this point, I don't have to. I'll tell you where to get it at, but I don't. I don't roll around in my truck with like a travel humidor in there just full of Black Starline cigars, trying to sell the shit out of my trunk. I don't have to do that. And a lot of people think that they're like, "Oh, dude, let me buy a cigar from you now." I'm like, dude, I don't roll around with an inventory. My inventory isn't even here anyway. I'm distributed by Illusione. My inventory is in Reno. So, yeah, so no, they don't. Some people do think like I said, they think I'm just like a traveling salesman with a truck full of cigars. No. If I have cigars with me, I may have one or two Black Starline cigars in my personal humidor. And then everything else is some shit I bought from lounges, depending on what city I was in and what I filled it up with in that city.
So then let me ask you, how did you get that connection with Illusione?
So Brian Matola talked to me about it at the last PCA, and I was quite inebriated at the time, so I didn't really understand what he was getting at. So my good friend from Carolina Blue, he ended up striking a deal with them to be for them to distribute him. So that made me look at it because he's been around a little bit longer than me, so I trust what he's doing. And then when I got to the point I was ready to have the conversation, I reached out to Brian first, but then Brian ended up transitioning to Cavalier Genevieve with Sebastian. Yep. So I got in contact with Howard, and then he was like, dude, he was like, we've been looking at you for a long time, and we would love to distribute for you. So that's how that came about. Cliff and I flew out to Reno for a couple of days because I was like, I can't have my cigars out there at a warehouse that I've never been to. So we flew out there and hung out with them for a couple of days. Got a chance to hang out in Reno and saw the warehouse. So I was very comfortable with the setup, and it's a good situation. And it took a lot of weight off my back because I was doing all the distribution myself. So now people just let me know what they want, and I shoot an email or a text over to Howard, and he ships it.
That takes a lot of stress off of you. Mm-hmm. So while we are into the final stretch of the show, thank you so much, Aric, for giving me the time out of your night. I ask a few lightning round questions here at the end, and I'm going to throw them at you. They're going to come at you like warp speed from Spaceballs. So let's see. What is your favorite cut?
V-cut.
What is your favorite rapper? Now you can give me musician and rapper, but preferably both or just rapper.
KRS-One.
Okay, so what about your favorite cigar rapper?
San Andreas.
Is there a rapper that you would love to work with but have yet to work with?
Sumatra, but I actually do have a blend coming through El Titan that has a Sumatra wrapper on it, so that'll be maybe later this year.
Perfect. Is there any exotic tobaccos? And what I mean by exotic, outside of the South American, Nicaragua, Honduras, Ecuador, or even Puerto Rico, the Caribbean stuff that you would love to work with?
Maybe Peruvian. I know Castagli, Jeremy uses Peruvian tobacco in some of his stuff. I think Daughters of the Wind and maybe the Basilicas, A, B, and C. I think he uses some Peruvian tobacco in there. So maybe that. Um, I will have to source it and get it over to Aganorsa so they can work with it. But
Have
yeah,
you
maybe.
have you ever looked
Go ahead.
into any of the African tobaccos? And I only ask this because I know there are several companies that do African puros, that do all
Mm,
African tobacco. Have you ever looked at?
mm,
And I know that's like really grab you by the balls stuff
yeah.
from what
I
I've
mean,
heard.
the only African tobacco I've ever had is a Cameroon wrapper.
Okay,
I haven't had any other tobacco that would be from the continent, So I will have to smoke some of those cigars so I can get a feel for that's the characteristic that tobacco has to say if I was even interested in using it or not. Right now, I've never had it, so I can't tell you yeah or no. You
well
know.
I can tell you it's pretty aggressive stuff. I
Mm.
love it. It's pretty aggressive. So, what is your favorite? I know we touched on it just a little bit, but if you had to have your favorite drink, what would it be?
You talking about a spirit or just
Hmm.
anything?
Anything,
Um.
coffee, liquor, beer, anything.
Oh shit, I'm a Scotch guy, bro. So if it's something smoky, I'm with it. Ardbeg, Lefroy, Lagavulin,
Perfect.
Kalila. Yeah,
What is your favorite size cigar?
Coronas.
Dimension, and like Corona. Okay.
Yeah, six by
So
forty
what?
six Coronas.
So what is that your test blend? Typically, you start at the
Yeah,
Corona and then move out.
yeah. The Lalibela is the only one I didn't start off with a Corona. The rest of them I always started out with a Corona. So Lalibela started off with a Toro and a Gordo.
So okay, so that's very important, and the reason why I think that's super important to let people know is because I know a lot of other manufacturers that focus on one cigar, get that right, and then they blend to other sizes. So if you're
Yeah.
watching this and you want to know what Black Starline's cigars are 100% meant to be like,
Hmm.
try yourself a
Yeah.
Corona in
Hmm.
everything but the La Bella, and then try a Toro. I'll tell you, this Toro was an amazing journey all the way through. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
if you had to only smoke one of your cigars for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The El Milagro Corojo is actually my personal favorite out of my line. So it would probably be that
Perfect.
one.
So if you're
And it kind of leads
go ahead.
towards because it was one of my original blends, so that was always near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I tell people all the time even when they come to events and they ask what is my favorite, I'm like, bro, it's the red one. That one's my favorite, and it's partly because of that, because of the blend, and it's also because of the pairing. Like I said, the pairing is Port Charlotte 10 by Brook Lottie, and it has that smoke in it. So I like the smoke. The smoke goes really well with the blend, and they just it's alchemy. The two love each other. So
No, I am honestly, and I don't know if this is because I smoked cigarettes for so long, but I love Lancero, Panatella, Corona.
oh yeah,
Those are
I
my
love Lanceros
favorite
too.
sizes. Those are my
Yeah,
absolute favorite sizes. I think you get the
yeah.
most flavor out of them.
Yeah, Lanceros
So,
are awesome.
so then, when you, what is your biggest pet peeve when you walk into a cigar lounge?
If I get attacked about uh, buying cigars out of there, that drives me nuts. I was in a
Explain what
lounge
you
in
mean.
Houston. So some lounges will have like a 2 cigar minimum. And I get
Okay.
it. Some people will come in there and they'll buy one cigar or not, and they'll just sit in there all day and suck up the air conditioning and electricity and watch TV and work, and they're not supporting the lounge. So they implement a 2 cigar minimum to make sure that they drive some income in the lounge. But I was in a lounge in Houston, and I walked in. Me and Cliff walked in, and we were smoking cigars as we were walking in. And as I'm putting my bag down, the manager comes over. He's like, "Oh, you can't smoke that in there." So I'm looking like, I mean, am I smoking a joint or something that's not tobacco? And he was getting that they don't allow outside cigars in the lounge. But what he didn't know is I know how what's customary when you go to a lounge. You support the house. But if I support your house, it shouldn't matter what the fuck I smoke. I already paid, so if I want to smoke something on my box, maybe I want those cigars to sit for a little while because I don't know if your humidor is fucked up or not. So I'll let it sit in my humidor, and then I'll smoke something I know has been humidified because it came from me, you know. But this guy, he attacked us about it, and I was like, bro, you didn't even give us a chance to go to the humidor. I didn't even get a chance to put my bag down. So that drives me nuts. And then they followed me to the humidor, and he was like, is there something you're looking for? And I fucked his head completely up. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for tobacco. And he didn't know what the fuck to say to that. And then he just left out. I was like, yeah, bro, leave me alone. Let me assess the situation in your little shitty ass humidor, and I'll buy something. So, so that's what that drives me nuts, bro.
So what differentiates a Black Starline store from a non-Black Starline store?
What
do you look for in a lounge to carry your cigar?
I look for other boutique cigars in there. I don't really go towards lounges that like they focus on selling Davidoffs or Byrons or Atabays because that means you got customers that just want to pay a bunch of money for a cigar. They honestly don't know much about the cigar, and they don't know that a $7 cigar could be just as good or better than the $30 cigar. So I look for lounges that have a mixture. They may have Padrones, they may have Atabays, but they also have say Amendola or Black Starline or some of the other boutique Roma Craft. They'll have it's a mixture of cigars. It's not just all high end shit.
So what is the best piece of advice you would give somebody for watching this show that goes, I want to start a cigar company?
Never give up. Because that's the story of Black Starline. I didn't give up. I was persistent. I kept calling El Titan, sending flowers. I kept calling. And even when I was calling them, I was calling and reaching out to other people to see who was willing to do a blend for us. So yeah, never give up. If this is something you absolutely want to do not give up, because somebody will entertain you. And I was just so fortunate to come out the gate with El Titan, because El Titan, as far as Sandy told me, she's not working with anybody new anymore. If you're working with El Titan, you got to be like HVC, because they just recently went over there. You got to be an established fucking company for them to roll for you, because they like I said, it's small, so they only have so much work they can do, and they got some heavy hitters that come out of that factory. And I'm just so fortunate to be able to say, hey, I'm affiliated with them too.
So I'm going to give you the last few minutes here to promote your brand hard. Let's see the best style of promotion you can do. The close of the show is all you.
Cool. I appreciate it. So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that's supported us, because without you all smoking my cigars, I wouldn't be here. I can't smoke all those cigars by myself, nor would I want to. But we're rolled by Aganorsa Leaf and El Titan de Bronze, two fantastic factories that roll for me. They're great blends. You follow us on Instagram, Black Starline Cigars, or follow us on Facebook as Black Starline Cigars there too. Great blends. I got 5 different blends. And I also have infused cigars. We didn't talk about that. Infused cigars, peach cognac, apple whiskey, coffee, and vanilla bourbon. So I have something for everybody to enjoy. So, like I said, I really appreciate all the support that you all have given me. I hope you all continue to support me so I can continue to grow bigger and get you all more great product coming out of Aganorsa and any other factory I decide to work with. And once again, thank you. That's the best I can say to you is thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, Aric, I can tell you, thank you very much for coming on. You will always have a home here at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. Anytime you want to come on, you are always more than welcome. Thank you very much for coming on. And thank you so much for everybody watching. And please, if you have never had a Black Starline cigar, definitely do your best to pick them up. So really quick, before we sign off, Aric, again, let people know where to get your cigars outside of your specific website, but please plug that too.
Yeah, so it'll be easier if you all go to the website blackstarline.shop. I have a retailer page on it that lists all the places that we're carried at. So you can find somewhere, if there's somewhere that's close to where you live, to buy my product. If you can't find it there, you can go to like Small Batch or Underground. Provider Club has us. Cigar Federation had us. They're sold out. But you can find us in online shops, or you can buy directly from me too at blackstarline.shop. I ship out via UPS, so the package will be there based on when I ship it. I usually ship between 24 and 48 hours. It'll be there 2 to 3 days, depending on where you live. So, and I ship everything with Boatworks packs and everything, so they're fresh when you get there, But go to the retailer page on blackstarline.shop, and that lists everywhere that we're carried at, and then you can see if there's somewhere close to where you live to pick up my product.
And if you're in the Colorado area, definitely go down to Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge. This cigar was highly recommended to me before I ever even heard of Black Starline by Smoking Cave and the staff over there. They love Black Starline. So definitely, if you're in the Colorado area, check out Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge. Let them know that Ryan from Rocky Mountain Cigar Show sent you. It won't get you anything off, but they will treat you nicer. So from my heart to everybody else, thank you so much for the sponsors that make this show possible. Real quick run through. We have Drew Estate that makes this show possible. We have ROCF Cigars and BAMF Cigars. Promo code down in the description, 15% off their entire website. We have K by Karen Berger Cigars as well, and Christoph Cigars as well. These guys keep this show going. And last but certainly not least, my home humidor is all New Air. And then the official drink of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. And what we drank for a pairing tonight was the Axe and Oak Bourbon original and the Axe and Oak Hillshine aged in a Lafroig Scotch barrel. Both of them went amazing with the La Bella. So definitely make sure that you check out Axe and Oak. They are nationwide. They will be close to you. And like I said, Aric, I will do my best to bring you a bottle of that Hillshine Axe and Oak Lafroy, because I think you would really, really love it. So, as customary here at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show, until we see you again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.